thing which I've done, which has helped the most people science-wise, is this computer program, CASTEP, that I've developed, co-developed, that's in use across the UK, across Europe, around the world, and lots of people have used it, and it's quite nice when you go to a conference and you don't know anybody, and eventually say, "Oh, you're the CASTEP guy. Oh, we've heard of you." And no, that's kind of a bit nice when that happens. It doesn't happen every time, but it's nice when it does happen. CASTEP has quite a long pedigree. The whole kind of theoretical ideas that underlie CASTEP were developed in the 1960s, but nothing happened with those ideas. They stayed as pure theory until the 1980s, when people started to develop the computer programs to turn these ideas into reality, and computers became fast enough to try and do these calculations. The breakthrough came in 1986 when two people called Roberta Carr and Michele Parinello, they published a breakthrough paper on a new method, a new way of solving the equations that suddenly made things feasible in a reasonable amount of time. When this paper was first published, a lot of people didn't believe it. It was a very different way of doing it. And a British scientist called Mike Payne, at that time he was a postdoc in the States, he thought he would try it for himself and make his own independent version of this code, of these ideas, and that was the very first baby version of CASTEP. So Mike moved back to Cambridge, and over the next few years, as he became a lecturer and started building a research group, this code rapidly took off, and it was the first independent confirmation of the ideas of Carr and Parinello, and it became the UK leading code to do any of these kind of calculations. Unfortunately, as it was developed by lots of enthusiastic students with very little control or guidance, it turned into what we call spaghetti code, and became an unmaintainable nightmare of Fortran 77 code. So when I joined Mike's group in the late 90s, I was using this code to do some science. It took me a year of using the code and reading the code before I had the courage to make my first edit to try and change it. And I wasn't alone in this. There were a number of us at the same time who thought, we really like the ideas, but the code is a disaster. We can't use this as a basis for our future research. And so we came to the idea in the late 90s that we need to start again. We need to take the good ideas and the good algorithms that have been developed in CASTEP and rewrite them from the ground up as a brand new code using modern coding standards and modern ideas and modern languages, and away we went. So with Mike's blessing, we did that starting in 1999, and then in the year 2001 we released the first version of CASTEP, new CASTEP, which was a total rewrite that had all the functionality of old CASTEP, but worked and was clean modular code you could then use for the future. Since that time, 2001, we've released a new version at least once every year. Last version came out in December 2016. The code has now grown to over 600,000 lines of nice clean Fortran 95, 2003, something like that. And it's widely recognised as being one of the nicest codes to develop in because of the way it's been designed and written. The original team of 6 people we put together back in the late 90s. One person left academia. One person moved sideways into a technical role in a small startup company. The 4 original people stayed in. I was one of those original 4. And 2 new people have been brought in over the years, so the team is still the level of 6 lead academics. Over that time, we progressed from postdocs into academics, and I think all but one are now of us are professors with large research groups of our own. But we still are good friends. We still work together very much. And it's a nice treat in the year when we can take a few days off and go on what we call a coding retreat, which is a bit of a bachelor party where we crash out in a big country house somewhere and take over the dining room with loads of computers and wires everywhere and just code and drink nice wine and whiskey and yes, develop. You're laughing.
It's the best way to develop code, is it?
Best way to develop code with a bottle of wine in front of you, yes. So it's nice so you can do that, yeah.